introduce our speaker. She's Gail Suzuki-Jones, and she's an energy analyst with the state of Hawaii. And actually, thanks go to Ana Lau, who actually was the one who introduced our speaker to the association, to the chapter. So I'll let Gail express herself, and she has some good information to pass on with Hawaii Green Business Program. I know there's a lot of talk often about Hawaii going green, and we talk about green products and green this and green that. And actually, if any of you have really gone around the trade show, you would have found out that there's all kinds of stuff coming out with reference to going green. And one of the interesting things I found out, and I'm still trying to do some research about, microfiber has been in the business a long time, but there's this new microfiber product I really want to do some tests on, where they said it has silver in it, and you don't need to use any chemicals, just water. But I'm still kind of working with that and trying to get more information on it, because there were a number of different microfiber products and microfiber technologies out there. Hey, Gail, let me introduce you to our assembly.
For having me here this morning. Thank you to Rose, and thanks to Anna, who unfortunately couldn't make it. I'm Gail Suzuki-Jones, and I'm with the State Energy Office at the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism. And I was sitting back there kind of watching the end of your meeting, and I didn't realize what a lively, happy, and fun-loving group you are. Anyway, I'm very impressed by that, and I'm glad to be a part of this presentation and meeting today. I'm going to talk to you about the Hawaii Green Business Program. But before that, I'm going to just kind of lay the foundation for some other things that are happening here in the state. And I know this is probably not anything new to you all in terms of knowing about solar energy, wind energy, and wave energy. Here in the state of Hawaii, we're blessed with an abundance of natural resources as well as a beautiful environment. And we want to preserve and promote that. So the state has this thing called the Hawaii Clean Energy Initiative, and it's a fairly aggressive goal of 70% clean energy by 2030. And that building there on the right is my office. It's called the State Office Tower, across from St. Andrew's Priory, and that's where I work. My office is on the 5th floor. But what we're doing is we're working together to try to achieve a clean energy future, 30% energy efficiency and 40% renewable. So we're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. We're very vulnerable, yet that also makes us an attraction to a number of visitors and tourists. So what we want to do is to become more energy independent and make sure that our energy security is something that we can pass on to future generations. We don't want to leave our children or our grandchildren with nothing to use in a bad situation. So we want to be a leader in this as well. So this is how we're progressing. So many of you in your neighborhoods probably have noticed solar panels on people's roof if you already don't have them yourselves. There's electric vehicles, and there's solar hot water heaters, there's CFLs and LED bulbs, and these all contribute to the energy efficiency and renewable energy that we're achieving here in the state. And a lot of the hotels have achieved this as well. There's a award ceremony that we do once a year at the governor's office. I'm going to pass this around. And Pacific Business News just did an article yesterday on the 13 businesses and 9 events that were awarded Green Business Awards. So it's a very timely and exciting thing. And this is just a picture of my office. This is where I'm from, the people that I work with. And we have a lot of green interns, so we're trying to also help and mentor the younger people coming up through the profession to make sure that they have a place and are trained well for the future. The event that we had was a Net Zero Energy Conference, and it was held at the UH Cancer Center. I don't know if any of you are familiar with this building, but it's a beautiful... to reach you on your cellular device. Uh-oh, that's important. Better get to that. I have 3 daughters, so... it's important. Anyway, so the UH Cancer Center is a LEAD, which is Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design Gold Certified Facility. This is a picture from our event. So we try to walk the talk as well by conducting our events at green venues. And this is just a shot of the agenda and the program. So we're looking at ways to try to promote not just renewable energy and energy efficiency, but net zero energy, which goes way beyond that, so that your building is actually producing, if not more, as much energy as it needs to be generated. So there's a series of different things that we talked about on May 7th, and we just are happy to share and spread the word about these things wherever we can. And so not only am I going to talk about green energy, which I already have, and what we're doing, but green buildings and green businesses. A number of you already work in them, and I know that, I'm not sure exactly who's here in town, but there are a number of hotels in Waikiki. There are over 30 in the state that are green business certified, and we have other sectors as well that I'll talk about a little later. I'll be talking about green purchasing and a little bit about green cleaning. This is your specialty, I know. And then a little bit about our green interns and the top 10 things you can do. The U.S. Green Building Council has a program called LEED, which I mentioned earlier. And there are actually a number of projects in the state of Hawaii that have gotten LEED certified. And LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. And it's promoting green buildings. So you can see in this slide, there are a number of different commercial buildings, over 80, a number of homes on the left, 246. And there are a number of LEED professionals, volunteers, schools, higher ed, and actually this is a slide from last year. This year we ranked number 9 in the nation for LEED certified square footage per capita. Wow. So for Hawaii, a very small state, we're doing really well. So in terms of your industry, I think many of you might have heard about these projects that are being certified, the Alani at Ko'olina, the Andaz Wailea on Maui. And there are a few projects that are in the works for existing facilities. They have an existing buildings operations and maintenance program. So it's not just for new buildings, but it's for existing facilities as well. And so the Moana Surfrider has submitted its documentation and is waiting to hear back. And then on Maui, the Maui Marriott Ocean Club and the HYATT Maui are looking at this existing building program. So this is really great because hotels, as you know, are operated 24/7, and the amount of energy, water, and products that are used are pretty phenomenal. So if we can be more resource efficient, it's only to all of our own benefits. So not only with private facilities, but with state facilities, the state feels like we have to walk the talk. And so there's a statute in place that says we should be designing and building our buildings to LEED silver level. And it's not an easy thing to do, but it definitely is kind of setting the bar a little higher. And it's training professionals to get on board with this whole program. In fact, our building just got LEED certified. That little insignia on the left is a plaque, the gold one. We got gold certification in 2012 and Energy Star labeled as well. And the pictures here are from waste audit that we did. So we took a day's worth of our trash and actually sorted it and measured it and weighed it to see what was being recycled, because we still have recycling, and then what was being thrown away. And so that way we could really get a feel for, you know, things that could potentially be diverted and recycled and places where we're doing really well. And this is kind of the summary of our results. So we're diverting over 50%, about 58%, which is pretty good if you think about it, but we could always be doing better, especially in an office building. So we're working on that now and looking at how we can divert mixed paper, which is that big wedge of burning on the right-hand side. Also, compostable food. I know many of you already recycle or compost or send your food to piggeries, but there's a lot more that we can be doing with the food waste. Donating also. I know I heard Rose talking about donations of like linens. I think a number of you might also donate food products and money. So that's really great. Okay, so the Green Business Program. I didn't bring checklist for everyone, but I'm going to pass these around that you can just quickly look at it. There are a number of pages, and I tried to be resource efficient about how I copied it. So what I wanted to do is put several on a page, then I double-sided it and stapled it. But I have cards, so all of this is available online. I have cards over on that table, and I have cards here with my website, which you can see this information. But basically, the Green Business Program, are any of the hotels in the rooms currently participating in the Green Business Program that you know of? Oh, excellent. Yeah, you just got, yeah. So that's really great. So anyway, this is a program that recognizes the businesses for going beyond compliance. So if you look on the checklist, maybe pass it around when you're done, you can see there are categories in energy, water, recycling, pollution prevention, cultural practices, as well as purchasing. So in housekeeping, green cleaning products is one item that we definitely look at. And I brought something that I think I have enough copies of for everyone, which is this is a guide for green certifications. So you know how you see a bunch of different logos on products lately, and you don't always know what they all mean? This is a really good guide to what to look for, which ones are verifiable and which ones are legitimate. This was done for government, but it's very useful for business as well. But I think there's plenty to pass on. So this is something we provide to our businesses. There's a number of resources. If you look on the back of the checklist, there's a link to resources. And that's the website address. So what you would do first is you would complete the checklist. You submit it to us. We review it. And we have partners with the Department of Health, Board of Water Supply, and Chamber of Commerce, and then Hawaii Energy as well. Then we would conduct a site visit to verify that everything's been implemented as we see that, or as we interpret it to be correctly. And then you as a property or a business would agree to mentor one other business. So the outrigger read, I'm not sure, I think there was talk about mentoring some of the other properties, right? And as well as potentially the restaurant that's right on site. And then there's a recognition ceremony once a year in the governor's office for everyone who qualifies. So there's a list of our partners at the bottom. And here's a list of the hotels, resorts, restaurant, and offices that got recognized last Friday. So as you can see, a number of them are long, but there's also a good amount on the neighbor islands as well. And a real range from small hotels like an Hawaii Island Retreat, which is really small and off the grid, to like the Ritz-Carlton Kapalua. And a number of these hotels have participated more than once, like 2, 3, and 4 times. Blue Hawaii Lifestyle is that sidewalk place at One Center. You know about it. And then Honeywell Smart Grid Solutions is an office. Lucky Cod Kitchen is a very good restaurant. We have been there. It's really good. And then Limtiako is an environmental consultant. So as you can see, a number of these entities are very diverse, and we're really excited that they're participating. And these are from another ceremony last year, and our past hotels that have participated in previous years. So just to give you a range of things, I know some of you see your hotels now or not, but that's a picture of the governor's office. So that's where the ceremony's held. HYATT covered it last Friday on the news. So it's a nice little media event. And people here are pretty happy. This is from the beachcomber on the left last year. And I'm going to picture in the picture in the room. And then on the right is Maui Marriott Ocean Club. So what I'm going to do next is go pretty quickly through a series of slides because I know we got started a little late and I want to leave time for questions or for you to get to your lunch time. But this is some of the slides that have to do with the hotels that just got recognized and some of the measures that they've implemented. Energy in-room parking system is something that's really popular in Japan, parts of mainland California. But I know a number of you have recently installed those and have found fairly good savings, I'd say. The Aqua Bamboo, Aqua Aloha have those in place at the Equus Hotel. And then I think I heard the Trump Tower is also getting it. So this is not anything new. It may be slightly new from Hawaii, but I think it's a very effective system. And then green teams, that's something that's really important, is to get your team together. The Aqua Hawaii Beach Resort, they have a very good recycling program, and they work with the community to donate to charities that benefit the residents of Hawaii. The Grand Hyatt on Kauai, they have this remarkable PV canopy over their parking for employees, which generates a lot of energy, and they convert nearly 40% of their waste through recycling and composting. The Hawaii Island Retreat on the Big Island, I hadn't heard about this till they submitted their checklist, but it's pretty amazing. They're off the grid, they catch their own water, they use organic products, and they provide reusable water bottles. It's a smaller, definitely a smaller situation than most resorts and hotels, but they're able to do that and feature that in their retreat. Okay, the Maui Ocean Club, a Marriott property, has done a lot of retrofitting with energy efficient lighting, low flow fixtures, as well as recycling bins. And I know a number of hotels are starting to put recycling bins in their rooms as well. There's some very nicely designed ones that meet their standards. And the Outrigger Reef, anyway, here's the Outrigger Reef. The retrofit for them has been very significant, from CFLs to LED bulbs, which are even more efficient. And they've also partnered with local community groups, which I know all of you are doing. The Equus is a very small property. I didn't even really know it existed, but it's run by the family that owns the polo fields in Mokuleia, the Daly family. And so hence the Equus, which is like a equestrian horse. Anyway, that's their little logo. But they have the, I don't know, something got messed up with the formatting when I put it up. Sorry about that. But they have an in-room parking system and Energy Star appliances. The Ritz-Carlton Kapalua, it's a beautiful resort on Maui, has focused on sustainable dining options. So they grow a lot of their own produce. They have the luxury of having the land out there, so they have organic gardens and trees. They compost, and they have this great partnership with Cousteau Ambassadors of the Environment. They have a special facility that on the last bullet features all those particular things, the last two bullets actually. And so it's a really amazing thing that they're doing there on Maui. And then WYNDHAM, they participated 2 years in a row, and we're really excited about their efforts. They have their own WYNDHAM Green Standard. So every year they get audited by their own WYNDHAM Green team, which comes by. They have their own checklist. And so participating in the Green Business Program was nothing too new for them. And they're doing quite a bit. It's very, very impressive. So you can see some of the savings. And that second to the last bullet, I don't know if any of you have seen those low-fat containers at Long's where you can use cooking oil in. They provide that in the refrigerators of their units. So it helps to reduce the amount of grease that goes down the drain. And the Aqua Aloha Waikiki also has that card key system, and that resulted in a 15 to 25% reduction in their energy use, which is very significant. And you know, of course, with anything, it's not perfect. The system is not perfect. However, they've worked out ways to train their staff, as well as their guests and residents, how to use the system to work to their advantage. So that's, for a small property, a pretty considerable savings. And then Hyatt Regency has their own Thrive program. They have a chef's garden on their third floor rooftop, and they've used a lot of LEDs as well as low flow water fixtures to reduce their water and energy use. So this is ending kind of that little string of slides, but this is taken at the Hyatt, talking about one of their remodeling projects. So say not your whole hotel, but just a section of it goes through a renovation. There are ways that you can use those 3 water use, as well as to reach out to the community. Okay, one more, sorry. The Westin Kaanapali Resort participated, I think it was last year, and they have their own Westin program. It's a 30-20 by 2020, which is energy and water goals, kind of like the clean energy goals, but related to a 30% reduction in energy and a 20% reduction in water by the year 2020. So they are definitely aggressively working toward their goals, and they also look at waste management as well. So this talks about the press event at the governor's office. We also have something called the Green Event Checklist. So this is something which is just for events. Say you don't want to commit yourselves to the whole Green Business Program checklist, but want to try something out on an event-by-event basis, maybe even one that is related to like an employee or staff-related function. That's something that you, or even here at the IEHA could do. And it gives you ideas of what you could do to be more resource efficient, what you could do to reduce energy and water, and then simple things you can do with transportation. So let's see. Another picture. This is the outrigger reef. Some of you might know these people. And this is the WYNDHAM Waikiki. So sometimes it takes a village because, you know, a lot of these things aren't always within the housekeepers or the chief engineer's responsibility. So what a lot of hotels will do is they'll take apart the checklist and give different sections to different departments, making it easier for the whole thing to be accomplished. So as you can see, there's Anna and Glenn and some other folks from the WYNDHAM. And the Lieutenant Governor, who's the governor with me. And some of you might know some of these folks in the Aqua. Not only does it take a village, but it also takes a champion. And Craig there in the middle, many of you might know him, but he's a character, but he is so committed to this. That's great. Yeah, he's so committed to this. He's such a great guy. And he's been a real champion for the Aqua chain. First it was the Bamboo, then it was the Aqua Aloha, then the Kauai Beach Resort. Now they've gone back to the Bamboo to do it again, and they're looking at doing this chain-wide. So, you know, it's definitely something that people feel good about doing. You're doing the right thing, and you're also saving money and resources. So the first step would be to contact us. So you have all those pieces of paper floating around, and then my card over there. I have more cards here. Contact us. You can also do a Google search for Hawaii Green Business Program, and it'll just bring it right up immediately. Look at the checklist that you're interested in, and then we'd be happy to talk to you about the rest of the process. There are no fees that are involved. We provide you resources and reference to other programs that might be able to provide you incentive funding, and then you get recognized. So I think all the way around it's a pretty good program and process. The green events, I think I passed that out already. This has been very popular. We have a total of 16 green events in 2 years because people see it as manageable and doable. These are some things that have happened, some of the events that we've conducted and have been conducted. And then this is something that might be interesting. I thought this slide was really great because it shows between 2013 and 2012, we conducted our Golden Library at the Convention Center. And this year, we did not use box lunches. And so the difference in diversion between when we did and when we didn't, I mean, double basically more the amount that we recycled and kept out of the landfill. And I can't emphasize more that it's really important to just look at what you're doing and how you're doing it and how you could potentially save money and resources. Reuse Hawaii, I don't know if any of you know about this place in Kaka'ako, but if you have leftover construction or demolition material, carpeting, what have you, Reuse Hawaii might be a great place to consider taking it, and they will give you a tax write-up as well. And then Habitat Restore also exists on all the islands, and in Kalihi, Waianae, here on Oahu, and they do a similar thing with their Restore. So for the state, like I said, we're trying to do more. We have something that we published in 2011, but it's pretty much still applicable. It's a green product guide. It's available on our Green Business Program website under resources, and it gives you a listing. Rose mentioned different products that were at the expo. Green products and what into the various categories. So I'll pass this around for you to look at. Take a look at that. Because it's important to buy green. Why use green cleaners? I think you folks already know this, especially those of you who have come from the front line. And when you're exposed to the chemicals day in and day out, as well as working in offices or other settings, this can really affect your health. So what are the certified products? I gave you that list of logos and the programs that are pretty legitimate. These are the ones that you would look at: the Green Seal Eco Logo, Designed for the Environment, and Green Guard. Many of you may already know this. And then when are they used? I know some of you have hotel rooms for chemically sensitive individuals, and so this is a perfect place to use it. Or in floors that you might have for large group bookings, etc. And so this can help reduce health hazards and provide healthier staff. How to clean green, I think you all know this. Under the logos, my apologies. And then recycle paper. I tried not to print very much this time, but in the state they use a lot of paper. A lot of paper. We're trying to go paperless, but we're not quite there yet. But we're trying to buy recycle paper because it keeps the paper that you recycle in the loop. And so you're buying the paper that hopefully was recycled with paper that you yourself or some other people have recycled. And so we buy paper with 30% recycled content, but there's now paper with 100% recycled content. In fact, at the WYNDHAM, when we did the site visit, they were buying the 100% post-consumer recycled content. And I asked her, how did you accomplish this? Because sometimes there's a slight upcharge. And she said, well, Office Depot or some of these other outlets provide discounts and coupons, and she saves them and uses them. And so being resource efficient herself, I think it was Anna or somebody like that. This is a great way to up the amount of recycled content in paper. And then this just illustrates, this is a slide from the EPA, how much you would conserve, or how much a state would conserve if we shifted over from 30% to 100%. That's a lot of trees that we'd save, a lot of water that we'd save, and greenhouse gases as well. So it's the right thing to do. This is a shot of some of our interns, and we also like to enjoy ourselves and have fun because it's not all about just officers' hard work, but enjoying each other and each other's company, kind of like you do here in HYATT. This is a shot from the governor's office. This is our office was in Green Interns last year, and this is what we were able to do with the help of our Green Interns in a couple of years' time in terms of energy, water savings, and greenhouse gas emissions reduced. So we're working hard to do this ourselves, and we're asking you all to join us in this effort. Look at Energy Star, Water Sense, Green Seal. And here are the top 10 ways to save. And I guess this will be on the website, right? So you can access this as well as our website via the presentation. But basically the things that I think most of you all are already doing, if not all, at least a portion of this. So it's not that difficult to achieve. You may be receiving these beautiful money awards from a tree that was cut down at Manoa, and they made it into these plaques. So it's we're trying to do the right thing as well. So if you have any questions or want to contact me, this is my information, and thank you for your time and your interest in this. Thank you for all your time.
I'd like to ask Dale, actually, of course we know about the going green, the green chemicals and all of that. Well, let me ask this question. How many of you in your properties, I know the hospitals that really moved fast on it, use totally a microfiber cleaning technology? And I'm talking not only of cleaning cloths, I'm talking about scrap mops as well. But the difference between a regular mop and bucket system versus a flat mop system, you save on water. And then for those of you who are using the microfiber technology, using green products as well, green chemicals as well, how many of you have gone into what is called a charging system? A microfiber cleaning charging system. Hospitals have gone into it. They don't go around spraying chemicals. Your cleaning cloths are pre-soaked, not heavily soaked, and every unit they go into, every room they go into, there's a change. And your flat mop, if any of you would like to see how it's done, go into an emergency room in a hospital. Honeymoon is good for them, because I watched them, and I saw this bucket full of flat mop turned upside down, the mop heads, and they were clean, and I felt it, and it was slightly soaked. And then the houseman, or whatever they call it, utility, came around. He said, I just finished a room that was an emergency room that the person was discharged from. Now I'm going to go to the other room. So he rolled up, slowly rolled up that mop head and stick his mop handle with the head on top, that upside down mop, and didn't even have to bend or anything. And went around and did his mopping. We need in a hospital to really stay on top of new technologies today. Some of us, what I find is that hotels tend to be very, stay with always. I did some tests before with housekeeping. I don't know if you have done it. How many of you, your cleaning chemical right now is the color green? Your disinfectant is the color green. Okay. Fresh and clean is green, right? And other is green. Sometimes you try changing the color. You know what your housekeepers are going to do? No, this one, no green. Because they like the green. That's what we're dealing with. They don't like changes. Hotel housekeepers don't like changes. They work for 25 years cleaning toilets, making beds. How do you motivate them? When you change something, no, they don't like it. Plant the seed first. Talk to them green today. Why do you need to go green? That's one of the technologies or the ways and techniques of how to work with your housekeepers so that they become, you gotta make them become smart. Smart as you know. So that one day they can take over your job too. I mean, that's the succession plan, right? But anyway, very good information that I think can be passed on. And I think maybe for those of you who have not started going green, think about, okay, what's one simple thing that we can do in my housekeeping department? Okay, and before you go changing from a regular disinfectant to a green disinfectant, the thing to do so that it gets accepted is talk about it. For maybe about a month, to plant the seed first in the worker's mind. When you plant the seed, the more you talk, the seed grows into a plant. By the time you bring out that new technique, they're water. That's the approach I've always taken. Plant the seed first. But thank you very much. A lot of good information, a lot of handouts. I think that if you all need some, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Test, do things. If you're not using the charging system in your hotels, go look into it. I kid you not. If you're still with the mop and broom, the mop bucket and mop head, steam mop head situation, know that you're spreading germs wherever you go. Just know that. Because I've done some tests on it as well, and I've seen the situation. And if you have the ATP, any of you know what the ATP is? Anybody know what the ATP tool is? I see Anna shaking her head. Okay. Anna, you use it, right? Okay. The ATP tool is a measuring device that will count the number of germs that may be in a particular location, area, or surface. And that ATP device that will determine whether the cleaning process is right. Okay. It's been in the magazine. We've talked about it for a long time. Do you read your EHT magazine? Do you go into Executive Housekeeping Today, IEHA, sends us all the time updated information, chemicals, process, everything. I guess some of you just delete. No bother to read it. You're laughing because you know you use it. program, but we do a lot of community services. I think we can come up with a green program, you know, from the association level, and maybe we can pass it on. Maybe, Madeline, you are on to the, oh, actually, no, you said Outrigger Reed, right?
Yes.
Maybe we'll appoint Myra to read that. Right, Myra, because you probably didn't say you don't read it. I'll do it. You're smiling, you're accepting. Well, thank you very much. I think this should be very helpful to all of us. And going green is what it's all about. Thank you. She's around for them if you have any questions or need any more of her brochures.